All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanan, and in this video we're going to talk about the welterweight division. Terence Crawford has a new challenger for his 147-pound title, and it is Josh Taylor, who says that he is no longer fighting at 140 and going to 147. So that pretty much means that fight is on. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanan. We're going to talk about the 147-pound division. Terence Crawford is the WBO champion. Josh Taylor is soon to be the former undisputed champion at 140 pounds because he says that he cannot make that weight anymore. That's the last fight at 147, and he is going, at 140, and he's going up to 147. And that means, and with very high likelihood, that the next fight for Josh Taylor will be against Terence Crawford. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support on the channel and watching the videos. If you're not subscribed, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button and also hitting the bell icon so that you can get notified of all the videos. Very important, hit that bell icon and hit all notifications. But let's get into it. So just last week, before Josh Taylor fought Jack Cottrell and got a gift decision in Scotland, the WBO made Josh Taylor the WBO super champion. And what that means is that he can now move up in weight to 147 and immediately become the mandatory for Terence Crawford. And the WBO also, my understanding is, can order an immediate fight for him if he moves up to the higher weight class as a super champion. Same thing that the quote-unquote franchise champion can do with the WBC, immediately go up and challenge for the belt at a higher weight class. It is a special privilege that the WBO has given to undisputed champions. It's the same thing that they did for Terence Crawford when Terence Crawford beat Julius Ndungo to become the undisputed champion and then moved up from 140 to 147. And in his first fight at 147, he was immediately able to fight Jeff Horn for the WBO title. So it's the same thing that Terence Crawford did to get up there. Now, and Josh Taylor is now saying that he can no longer make 140 pounds. He believes that that may have had something to do with the fact that he had a close fight with Jack Cottrell. That's what he called it. I'd say that I think Jack Cottrell won that fight and should have walked away with all four of those belts. I'm highly suspicious of the scoring and the referee and the refereeing of that fight. Also, besides just what Josh Taylor is saying, also had Bob Arum, when he asked what is the next fight or what do you see happening next for Josh Taylor, Bob Arum immediately mentioned Terence Crawford and how he didn't believe that the lawsuit that was taking place between them would have any effect on the fight, and that how he said that he believed that fight would be made. Basically said, pay no attention to the lawsuit. That's whatever. But Josh Taylor wants that Terence Crawford fight, and we should be able to make that. Notably, noteworthy is what he didn't say. Bob Arum didn't say. He didn't say that there were any other options for Josh Taylor. Didn't say that staying at 140 for more fights was an option for him. Didn't mention anybody else at 147 pounds. Didn't mention a tune-up to get himself ready for 147 pounds. Pretty much just said the next fight would be for Terence Crawford. And to me, that makes sense and also fits into what Bob Arum does, because Bob Arum now has Teofimo Lopez at 140 pounds, and he's more than likely going to be trying to build Teofimo Lopez back up after he lost his belts to George Kambosos at lightweight. So he's going to have Jose Ramirez more than likely still there, Teofimo Lopez still there. It'll open up the belts and then give Top Rank even more fights to be made at 140. Obviously, for Josh Taylor to get the fight with Terence Crawford would be an opportunity for Top Rank to get the belt back from Terence Crawford. Now, after watching the fight with Jack Cottrell and Josh Taylor, I am like, on one side of it, I think to myself, you know, Terence Crawford's going to beat that dude up. Because Jack Cottrell is a guy that fights in the southpaw stance, just like Terence Crawford spends 95% of his fights in the southpaw stance. And it didn't look like Josh Taylor really had a really good handle on that. And Jack Cottrell was able to land straight left hands on Josh Taylor throughout that fight. The other thing, though, however, that bugs me is the fact, number one, that Josh Taylor is a dirty fighter on an entire different level, man. This guy hits this guy hits rabbit punches consistently, hits on the break consistently, hits people, literally will hit you with forearms, arm bars, all kind of crazy stuff that Josh Taylor does in that fight, just overly aggressive and what I think is just straight up fouls. And it would be interesting to see what happened with Terence Crawford and how he would handle that aspect of Josh Taylor. But more importantly than that is the fact that that fight would be over there in Scotland, more than likely be in Scotland, because I think that there would be a purse bid that would take place for that fight. And unless somebody like Boxer or somebody else like that, or I can't see the PBC bidding on it, or even Matchroom and DAZN bidding on it, more than likely Top Rank is going to win that purse bid, and that purse bid would be for a fight. It would take that fight over there to the same place that Jack Cottrell just got robbed in. And I'm telling you, I am so convinced. I'm not going to say I'm convinced. I'll repeat something that I thought was very funny, and an astute observation from Tim Bradley. When they were counting those scorecards, Tim Bradley and Andre Ward, when they said, man, it's taking a long time for these guys to calculate this scorecard for Josh Taylor and Cottrell. Oh, and then Tim Bradley, in response to Andre Ward, say, yeah, I think they're doing some erasing of some score. I think they're doing some erasing here and there, trying to fix that score, because nah, man, that dude right there just lost that fight. And that's their big cat. That's the cash cow and a big name boxer in Scotland. You know, they didn't want that dude to lose his championships in his first title defense in his hometown. On the other side of that UK bridge, or whatever you want to refer all those Brits, the British guys are like, that's just a straight robbery. But anyway, you do have to worry about that robbery. And if for Terence Crawford to go over there, I think, again, Terence Crawford would need a knockout to beat Josh Taylor if that fight happens in Scotland. But anyway, more than likely that fight is going to come up next. There's a chance that Terence Crawford may be able to get a fight in between, but once he fights one, he's going to get that mandatory dropped on him for sure, if they don't drop that mandatory on him immediately. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.
Thank you.